What's going on, Wolves and Warriors? My name's Jay Stewart, and this is the Better Body Academy podcast, the #1 show for those looking to permanently overhaul their mind and body without dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. We banish the fitness industry BS and replace it with science-backed strategies proven through countless client transformations. In the Better Body Academy, we help busy men and women around the world get unstuck and back into momentum so they start feeling strong and sexy again. Our mission is to transform 1 million lives, and you, my friend, could be next. And on that note, let's get straight into today's show. Welcome back, guys, to the Better Body Academy podcast, the podcast you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets, unsustainable workout programs. I'm Jace, and today, in this episode, we are going to be talking about how COVID takes your freedom. COVID takes your freedom. And the reason that we're doing this episode is because Sydney, or Greater Sydney, has just gone into lockdown for 2 weeks, as I understand it to be. And I'm seeing a lot of people kind of freaking out and doing all these challenges and, oh my God, COVID's hit us again. And it's really funny for me, not funny the situation, but funny for me that I've got a bunch of guys kind of putting up comments and pictures with they're wearing their face masks. We never stopped wearing face masks in Canada. So things are kind of semi-lockdown here still. You can go out to cafes and stuff like that, but certainly gyms, temperature tests, limited numbers, face masks are the normal, and it sucks when you're on a piece of cardio machine doing a little bit of extra calorie burn and you're breathing back your own coffee breath that you had as a little bit of a pre-workout. Anyway, I do digress, guys. First, I just want to make a shout out to any women watching or listening live or on the replay towards the end of this week, Friday, starting Australian Friday. We're going to be running a live masterclass it's about Friday morning Sydney time. The idea of this masterclass is to get to the bottom of some of these stupid calorie ditching diets and try to help put you guys on a bit better path. So if you want to get involved, or if your missus or your sister or someone you know who's a woman and you want to suggest to them to get involved, where you need to go is betterbodyacademy.com/wealthy, WELLTHY. WELLTHY, and we're going to be starting that on Friday. So guys, in this podcast, I'm trying to make these podcasts thought-provoking, right? I could come on here and talk about calories and talk about, how to lift weights and all that sort of stuff, but to me, that's boring. That's been done before. So my idea here is to get you thinking, okay? If I can cause one man or woman to think more as a result of doing this podcast, then to me, that's a beautiful, beautiful win. So I need you to listen up, because this one, for a few of you, might hit a little bit hard. So as I mentioned, Sydney's gone into lockdown. We've got about 30 new cases of COVID, I believe, per day coming in. And obviously, Sydney's doing the right thing to make sure that these COVID cases get confined somewhat to stop like an immense spread. That's obviously good stuff and common practice, okay? How are you feeling about this? So how is it impacting you? For some of you, there will be no major change. Whether you're in Sydney or not, you might be in the UK or the US or Canada or wherever. How had lockdown affected you for the period that you're in it? And if you're in Sydney, how is it affecting you? How are you feeling this morning waking up to your life being locked down? Now look, I really do believe that there's going to be some longer lasting psychological effects of this that are not yet known. So for example, I often wonder how my little daughter, who's only 10 and a half months old, how the kind of interaction with all the adults in her life outside, pretty much wearing masks, might stop them from seeing a smile and how that might impact her. I'm really interested on how that actually happens and what effect that might actually happen. But when the Premier announced the lockdowns, how did it make you feel? Do you feel almost like it impacted upon your freedom? Did you kind of like, oh man, like I can't do this now and I can't do that, I can't go to the gym and I can't go to the shopping center and I better go out and store as many bottles of beer that I can. I can't do what I like to normally do. Did it impact your freedom? I looked up the definition of freedom prior to this podcast, and what I got was the state of not being imprisoned or enslaved. Freedom is the state of not being imprisoned or enslaved. So, did the lockdown in any way impact your sense of freedom when you were in it, or does it now impact your sense of freedom? So things along the lines of being able to go out and do exercise, go out for dinner, see friends, go on a hike, go to the beach, etc. Does it feel like that impacts your freedom? Does it cause you to feel a little bit imprisoned, a little bit enslaved? Now, we tend to think of prison like steel bars, right? As in like a jail, or the four walls that you're enclosed in either a hotel quarantine or a house. So it's kind of this enclosure that we can see. But today, a very interesting idea crossed my mind. Lockdown is a prison that we are aware of. But are we all actually locked down in some way? I'm going to ask the question again. Lockdown is a prison that we are aware of, but are we all kind of locked down in some way? One of my favorite quotes is the idea that you cannot escape from a prison if you don't know you're in one. You can't escape from a prison if you don't know you're in one. So my question to you, my fine lady, my fine man, is, are you imprisoned in any way by the way that you think? Are you imprisoned in any way by the way that you think? Now, I've just done a live coaching session inside of Better Body Academy on the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. The idea that some of us believe that we can shape our lives and others believe that we're basically a victim of what happens to us. So if you believe that you are unable to change your life circumstances, you are indeed imprisoned. You are indeed imprisoned. You are in lockdown. Let me ask, do you believe you can make more money? Do you believe that you can change your body? Do you believe that you can get a better job or run a better business? Do you believe that you can be happier? If the answer to any of these questions is no, not really, you are enslaved. You are in a prison. How many of us are self-determined? What I mean by this is, how many of us constantly choose what happens to us versus just do whatever the world happens, do whatever the world gives us? If that's the case, then you're enslaved. Here's the thing. Everyone feels enslaved by COVID, but no one realizes that working a shit job that you hate is a form of a prison. We feel trapped by lockdown, but no one realizes that trying to keep up with the Joneses and buying depreciating assets on credit keeps us enslaved. I'm going to say that again. We feel trapped by lockdown, but no one realizes that trying to keep up with the Joneses and buying depreciating assets on credit keeps us enslaved, because we're trying to keep up with our friends and family who are all buying things on credit. We're going bananas about COVID, but we can't keep up with our kids because we're enslaved by our physical ability. In the academy, one thing that I constantly teach is before you can ever go about changing anything in the world, you have to first realize that you're stuck, because you can't escape from a prison that you don't know you're in. So let's go back to freedom. What is freedom for you? What is freedom for you? Are you truly free? I don't think it's a scale. I don't think you're either free or not. I don't think it's a black and white thing. But if you're going to work and you hate the job that you go to, then you're enslaved. If you're trying to buy more things and more things and more things and more things on credit just to keep up with some fucking arbitrary friend that you've got, inverted commas, you're enslaved. If you can't keep up with your kids, you're physically enslaved. So what is freedom for you? I think it's worth going back and defining it. We've got this short-term impact to our acute freedom, our ability to go to the gym, our ability to go to an office, our ability to go to the shops. That's been hindered by COVID. Some of us have been in it for a while, others haven't. That's a short-term freedom. And then COVID goes away, okay? COVID will eventually go away. I am of the belief that we'll eventually go back to life as we know it, right? And then we'll all feel free, but we're still trapped. We're still trapped by going to jobs that we hate. We're still trapped by thinking a certain way, by buying shit that we don't actually want when it comes down to it, but we feel like we have to because we're driven by our ego. And we're still trapped because when our kids want to play, we can't keep up. Working away at developing a mindset that grows you is going to do more from freeing you than a luxury Range Rover or a big house with a big home loan ever will. My question is, do you want freedom? Do you want freedom? Freedom is between the ears. COVID puts a temporary jail around us, locking us down, making us able to do a couple of things, but it will pass. But are you actually subject to a prison that you actually don't consciously recognize you're in? If you feel that you're unable to change your life circumstances, then that is indeed a form of enslavement, entrapment, and one that's stopping you from being the man or woman that you could potentially be, which could be amazing. So guys, if this one hit you a little bit hard, that's cool. Step back from it. Step back from it. And just ask yourself, have I got the tools and abilities and the community around me to be able to, now that I realize this, I've never really thought of this before, right? Yeah, you're right. I'm just like buying because Johnny's got the car. That's enslavement. And if you want to break that and be able to make more conscious choices, the first step is developing some self-awareness. And then from there, we can work on a plan. Now, if it's physical or mental freedom that you're struggling with, this is exactly what we deal with in the Better Body Academy. We help men and women slowly but surely become free of the prison that they don't consciously realize that they're in until they come into the academy. So if that's you and you want a hand, then feel free to reach out and ask our team. Other than that, guys, the point of this podcast is just to try to bring it to your attention that we're going all mental about COVID. I think there's a far greater impact to our freedom, which hits every one of us to differing degrees. And we've got to consciously realize that. And hopefully this podcast has maybe brought it to your attention. I'm going to love you and leave you there, guys. Thank you so much for coming into the Better Body Academy podcast, the podcast where you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. I'm Jace, and I will see you in the next episode. Wolves and Warriors, thank you so much for tuning in. If this podcast is hitting the mark for you and giving you the confidence to start your own personal journey, I want you to hit me up on Facebook or head over to my Instagram at jstewart_BetterBodyAcademy and DM me with the words Better Body Academy. I want to give you the tools to permanently overhaul your mind and body without dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. Our mission is to achieve 1 million lives transformed, and you, my friend, could be next. So hit me up on Facebook or head over to my Instagram at jstewart_BetterBodyAcademy and DM me with the words Better Body Academy, and we can have a chat about whether we can help you with your transformation goals.